never comparing yet one to one. I don't think
Uh, take less less sugar in your body because you have a whole lot life to live, and don't waste your life on sugar. Well, I'm a ice cream fan. I love eating ice cream, and that's dangerous. But make sure you minimize your sugar intake. And I don't usually drink sugar at home. I usually drink water. I prefer drinking water more than sugar. So the only thing that I actually get myself over
no.
over is now somebody speaking to me and I feel funny a little bit because of him smiling. And everybody that enters this place usually dig in a millimeter of their grave with their teeth. And if you eat more oil, put it in your body. Just a little bit of oil. It's just a little millisecond of your life has been cut. Maybe you have about an estimate of 80 years. But now, out of the 8 years you're gonna live, you do the math. How many minutes and how many seconds and how many hours you're gonna spend within the 8 years of your life? How many minutes will you spend? How many seconds will you live? Okay, maybe 2 seconds of that life has been cut because you ate sugar or you ate grease. Think about it. You might think that it's casual, but it's serious. If you have less exercise and more sugar intake and more grease in your body, and you have less of veggies in your body, and you have more sleep, oversleeping, or less sleeping, you have less reading of books, or you exhaust your brain by reading too much, or you have too much lazing around. No, you just have to have a moderate amount of time spent in almost everything you do. Not too much exercise, not less exercise, not too much food, not less food, not too much sugar, not less sugar, not too much grease, not less grease. You just have to have the right amount of sugar, you have to have the right amount of something. And that's to live longer, because we are born with a purpose, we are born with a dream. And we need to live full and live healthy, live long, so that we can realize who we are, enjoy life. And mind you, before you die, you have a legacy to leave behind. And it's not healthy, it's not good if you're gonna live and die and nobody is gonna be inspired by your living. And nobody's gonna have a reason and a meaning to actually remorse for you. You know, a lot of people died. I remember Nelson Mandela when he died, about more than 1 million South Africans. And all around the world leaders turned up to attend his funeral service. But that's Nelson Mandela. He was the president who fought against the apartheid, who fought against injustice, inhuman treatment in Africa, in South Africa. And he was regarded as one of the best leaders in the history of the whole continent of Africa. And you know, my friends, and when we look at the life of Bob Marley died at the age of 36. He died out of foot cancer of the bone. But he died at the age of 36. He wasn't even old, but he's the founding father of the reggae music. But one thing that really fascinates me and one thing that really motivates me is that this young dude, this reggae sensation, this reggae artist, this reggae inventor, he died at the age of 36. And you know, one of the things that really also, you know, makes me interested in the life of Bob Marley is that he's a Rastafarian. And that religion is about like being able to reconcile with nature, being able to be, be at peace with people, to love, to love people, to be a human, equality, prosperity for each and every person. And they kind of had a message about, equality, and that you should not be supreme. And I remember the song sang by Smile Chronix. It's titled Smile Jamaica. Just like that. A young, beautiful woman of Jamaica. Chronix met her down the road and, she's beautiful, but then she got abused. But that's how the white people saw the blacks. But then Bob Marley sang a song about freedom, about equality, about humanity, about human rights, and he died out of cancer. But these people died, and when Bob Marley died at the age of 36, he was such a hero. He died, and the whole of Jamaica came to his funeral. He was like a president, covered in the flag of the Jamaican flag. He was the pride of Jamaica. And today, Usain Bolt is also one of those best sprinters, the top sprinter in the world. He's also from Jamaica. And we can look beyond our own environment and our own setting. You can look beyond your own mind. Even you can look beyond yourself and think that you are not worthy. You are not even better than Usain Bolt, or not better than Bob Marley, or not better than Nelson Mandela. And I'm talking about the blacks. My brother, I know you're watching at your comment. I know that you can make a difference. Akon is from Senegal, and he composed a song called Freedom. And Michael Jackson was one of them who featured in that song. It's called Freedom, and one of the things in that song that really inspires me was that the story behind it. That Akon's father went to USA, America. He was at Mississippi, and then his mother followed after, and then he was also born. They were raised in America, but they were looking for freedom. And today, Akon has gone back to Africa. He's actually probably thinking of contesting for the presidency in Senegal, but he has impacted the lives of 6 countries in Africa by setting up his solar power company, Solar Energy. He lighted up 6 African countries with solar power energy, and that's an inspiration. But he came into the limelight of success, where he impacted people by his songs, and he was one of the highest paid celebrity, singer, artist, music producer, black man. Okay, now he actually plays on a different level. Like, he associates, mingles around with top leaders in Africa, in Senegal, and he has his own. He wants to unite the whole economy of Africa by creating a currency called ApeCoin, and also he is also trying to unite Africa by building his own city called Akon City. Like I previously said, you can look beyond yourself and see that these people can be a role model, but then when you look back and look into yourself, there is a giant that awaits in your heart, in your life. There is a giant. It's called you. And one of the biggest impossibility, I think the biggest impossibility is not the environment around you, or the biggest ocean, the Pacific Ocean, or that you cannot cross. It's not the impossibility to fly to the moon, or maybe the biggest trance, or the highest mountain, Mount Everest, or the biggest impossibility that you couldn't be able to climb Mount Everest, or you cannot even maybe own a big business or something, and you try and sit down and belittle yourself and compare yourself with people who have achieved greatness in their political history, or in their history of business and politics and religion. The life of John Wesley. He was one person. He dreamt of changing the world by religion, and he trained 100 men. He thought, if I could have 100 men, whom I could train to fear nothing but sin and love nothing but righteousness. We could change the world, and he did it. My brother, viewers out there is a giant waiting inside of you, and there is absolutely nothing is impossible. Nothing is impossible, absolutely nothing. If you can believe that you can do it, you will do it. I say it again. If you believe that you can do it, if you believe that you can do it, you will do it. If you believe that you can run a business, if you can own a multi-million-dollar Kina business, you can do it. Nothing is impossible. The only impossibility that you have is your brain, is your mind, is the mindset that you have. That's the only impossibility. If you dream of changing the world around you, you can do it. And there is nothing impossible, absolutely nothing. I thank you very much for listening. Go home and listen to this and go home and believe in yourself. Thank you very much, and God bless you. Bye.